right, Matrixx and Rhodes show supporters, let's talk about woke people. Now, I believe in a lot of ways this video sort of goes without saying. I think anybody with any common sense this oozes off people that consider themselves woke, not to mention the pink and the purple hair. And I think it's been very interesting that the decline of mental health facilities in this country, say asylums, there I just said it, make asylums great again. The decline in that happens to be coinciding with the rise of a lot of people walking the streets right now that I feel like would probably be getting treatment, let's say 40 years ago, 50 years ago, right? I think I'm a chick today. I'm going to be a chick today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be a Martian. I mean, say it out loud and tell me that doesn't feel like a potential mental hiccup, let's call it. And also, you combine that with, Democrats seemingly wanting everything to be given to them, and the rise of Marxism, etc. in this country. But I saw this and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm doing a video. Study. This came from a study. Woke people more likely to be miserable and suffer from mental health problems. No shit. I'm just saying. Call me crazy. Now, I will tell you this. This image was generated by AI. That in itself is kind of scary. This is Gateway Pundit. I resent and regret and hate this image because I rescue cats, and I've got rescue cats in my house, and nobody in this home looks like that. Nobody looks like they want to burn their own house down with their cats in it at all. So I hate that picture, but okay, nonetheless. A study out of Finland has found that people who believe in, quote, woke ideas of social justice are more likely to be anxious, miserable, and depressed. Once again, no shit. The study entitled Construction and Validation of a Scale of Assessing Critical Social Justice Attitudes was carried out by Oskari Lahtinen, who knows, a senior researcher at the Invest Research Flagship Center at the University of Turku. It sought to establish the prevalence of woke worldview and the kinds of people who hold it. Now, there's something very interesting at the end of this article, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that too. Psych Post, a publication that focuses on psychological developments, reported on the findings. An intriguing aspect of the study was its exploration of the relationship between critical social justice and mental well-being. Lahtinen found a correlation between higher agreement with critical social justice attitudes with increased reports of anxiety and depression. Agreement with the statement, quote, if white people have an average higher income than black people, it's because of racism. Is it? Okay. Exhibited the largest positive correlation with anxiety and depression and the largest negative correlation with happiness. You know what a lot of these people have in common is the feeling of being entitled. Like they should be just given something without any real effort just cause in society. And I think the fact that they're not just given something just cause, that in general makes them miserable. And they don't want to get up and go to work and contribute to society because they think society's trying to hold them down. Horseshit. However, these associations were more strongly correlated with participants' political orientation than critical social justice attitudes per se. Specifically, being on the political left was more predictive of lower mental well-being than high critical social justice scores alone. So if you're a progressive left lunatic, well, then you may be a lunatic. This suggests the link between critical social justice attitudes and mental health is complex and may be mediated by broader political ideological beliefs. Latinton, meanwhile, explained his methodology and the reason why he undertook the research. The arrival of a critical social justice, often called woke discourse, sparked much debate in Finnish media the last couple of years. This debate was largely data-free, and it could thus be considered a worthwhile question to study how prevalent these attitudes are. No reliable or valid instrument existed prior to the study to assess the extent and prevalence of these attitudes in different populations, so I set out to develop one. It makes sense. I like to have a number tied to everything, I think. The studies were quite robust, with a sample size of 5,000. That's plenty. I mean, I'm not going to kid you there. And good psychometric properties. However, the scale would need to be validated in North American samples in order to know how these attitudes manifest there. Well, when they get miserable and they get mad, they go out and roam the streets and burn everything to the ground. Are you going to tell me those people are normal? Question mark? I encourage colleagues in the United States to study the prevalence of these attitudes in the country where they originate from. Okay, here's an example. Let's flash back to the summer of love, okay, with said burning downs of streets and businesses everywhere. By the way, in large part by black people. When they were protesting racial injustice, they were harming other black people by burning down their businesses in their very own communities. Again, does that sound mentally stable to you? Because to use a term deduction, I would deduce that that is not very smart and you may be mentally unstable. Just throwing that out there. All the while being scared to death of a pandemic while you're in a group of 5,000 people in the street and you're all wearing masks like a bunch of idiots. It's not that hard. I think I just ran my own study. The study adds to the growing body of evidence that left-wing progressives live unhappier lives. A 2021 study from the University of Chicago found that just 1 in 6 Democratic voters described themselves as, quote, very happy, while 1 in 3 Republicans felt the same way. So basically 2 in 6 Republicans are very, quote unquote, very happy. The reason I thought that very last part about the very happy and political parties, again, I think if you're unwilling to get out and bust your rump to earn everything you need in life and want in life, and, oh, I can't afford that, so I'm not going to work extra hours or get a second job. So you're sitting around and you're broke and you're miserable and you're unhappy and you're blaming everybody else for it. Sounds like a Democratic voter to me, right? All right, so I'm just saying, I thought that was odd. Again, you're going to hear me say this. I've said it a lot on the network channel, but I think economics has a lot to do with all the problems in society. Is if you're willing to apply yourself, and I don't give a rip what color you are, then as long as you're putting in set amount of appropriate work, you're going to get set amount of appropriate output back, right? And you're going to, for example, I make really good money doing YouTube. I work 70 hours a week, okay? But I make really good money. There you go. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. You get out what you put in. I don't know. I don't get it, But I saw this and I thought, man, that's interesting. But I think most people with common sense would absolutely expect this study to go exactly like it did. I mean, let's be real. Do the cackling hens on The View, or Joy Reid, or Rachel Maddow, do any of those people seem happy to you? They seem like miserable human beings, in my opinion, anyway. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.